Hi everyone, this is Ted Diepenbrock for my final presentation in AEP 855. This is Equity for Hispanic Students in Public Education. These are my three articles that I used for this assignment. The first two are from the eric.ed.gov site, and the last one is from the an online newspaper posting from my local newspaper. I'm in I'm in Liberal, Kansas, and I'm a teacher at Liberal High School. Hispanics are the fastest growing segment of the United States population. Hispanic population, it increased 58% from 1990 to 2000, and then 15 million more were added between 2000 and 2010. The U.S. Department of Education quotes, "A substantial proportion of Hispanic students are English language learners." Reading levels have increased for both racial groups, white and Hispanic, in the last 10 years, yet the gap between the two groups remains. The gap did not change from 1992 to 2009, and the group for this study were 4th and 8th graders, white and Hispanic students. A study issued by the National Center of Education found a variety of factors contributing to this gap. Hispanic students were more likely to come from low-income families associated with lower educational performance. That was just one possible example. There's a need for research. I'm moving on to my second source. There is a need for research that can assist faculty, administrators, and policymakers in identifying specific strategies and programs to directly and indirectly influence the success of Hispanic students. The authors of my second resource, Nora and Chris, encourage the development and testing of theoretically sound statistical models that are able to identify the indirect and mediating relationship between participation in formal college programs and activities and Hispanic student outcomes. Research suggests an examination of the relationship between peer support and outcomes of Hispanic students. That seems to be a major factor on Hispanic student success in secondary education, and then beyond that at the college level. Also considered is the diversity in terms of generational support and ethnic subgroup. To better understand Latino processes, experiences, and practices, rigorous case studies, narrative-based inquiries, and ethnographic studies are a necessity. Qualitative methodological approaches extend the knowledge base by illustrating more specific inquiries that better represent concepts or current issues regarding Latino students. And my last source, I teach at a school where Hispanic students are well over 50% of the high school, maybe even higher than that, and in a community where it is Hispanics are in the majority. Recently, our school was under fire for implementing competency-based grading. This presentation is obviously not about competency-based grading, but it is that will lead us into what I'm going to talk about. Teachers, school board members, parents of students, and people in the community questioned, even verbally attacked administration at my school for making this choice. And in light of all that, our newspaper put out an article about my high school, Liberal High School, and focusing on our head principal, Keith Adams. Principal Adams and the former school board president were interviewed for the story, focusing on the state of the school 6 years earlier when Adams took the helm. Tests from the article. Test scores were well below the acceptable level to meet the No Child Left Behind mandates. The school was required to have an evaluation to see what the steps were being taken to avoid the takeover. Former school board president at the time visited with department heads from the high school for the outlook and possible solution. Teachers' number one complaint was, "We can't connect with these kids. There's so much apathy." They just sit in class and you can't teach them. In 6 years, Principal Adams has implemented 4 major pillars to improve academic atmosphere and morale around the high school: capturing kids' hearts, AVID as advancement via individual determination, literacy first, and an increase in AP courses available for students. In 2010, the high school made AYP benchmarks for the first time. Since 2008, the number of students taking the ACT has increased from 99 to 144. The high school average ACT score is also getting closer to the national average. In 2013, our high school was listed as the 7th best high school in Kansas and among the top 10% in the nation by U.S. News and World Report magazine. Demographics aside, this story at my own school has shown with a leader who is persistent and goal-minded, anything is possible. Principal Adams took a school on the edge of government takeover and turned it around to one of the top schools in the state. And my point here isn't that anything, it appealed to me to talk about Hispanics in public education in the United States. But really, I think with a great leader, they're going to brush all that aside, and they are going to pick out some goals. They're going to put the best people around them in administration and faculty, and just go right after what they think that they should do to help the school get where they need to be. And I'm very fortunate to be working in the high school that I am with such a principal that is always looking forward. And it has been a great experience for me, an exposure to all these different programs, and to work in such a diverse atmosphere that I do at Liberal High School. Once again, there's my resources, and thank you for watching.